That's all I can stands. I can't stands no more. Can you remember the old Popeye cartoons when he would get so frustrated and he'd just get to the point where he couldn't take it anymore and he would say those words, that's all I can stands, I can't stands no more. Then he would pop open his spinach and he would eat it and then he would save the day. Have you ever had your Popeye moment? Have you ever gotten to that place where you just thought, man, I can't take it anymore. This is it. That's all I can stands. I can't stands no more. I had my Popeye moment and I knew I had to change. There were times growing up that I did not want to go on living. I thought that this world would be better off without me. And there were several times I came dangerously close to committing a fatal mistake. But in every circumstance, something stopped me. I believe that something was God. Do not discount God, because He has a plan for your life. I came to that realization that I had to give my life to God because He could turn it into something special. I did not have to carry all this weight on my own. I could give it over to God and He could handle it much better than I could. Whatever your situation, if you're in a situation where you feel like things are just not that bad, or maybe you're in a situation like I was and you feel like this world would be a better place without you, here's my encouragement. Give your life completely to God. I'm not talking about just a segment of your life. I'm not talking about just having some church attendance and doing a few Christian things. I'm talking about giving your whole life to God. Get to the point where you say, that's all I can stands, I can't stands no more, and something has to change. Give your life completely over to God. Now, what do I mean by that when I say give your life completely over to God? I believe there are 4 aspects to every human. And we want to give all 4 of those aspects, all 4 of those areas over to God. First and foremost, when we talk about giving our life to God, typically we're talking about our spiritual life. And that is definitely a must. If you're going to give your life to God, you got to give your spiritual life to God. Listen, there is something beyond this world. Give that part of yourself over to God. Zig Ziglar used to say that you're going to be dead a lot longer than you're going to be alive. So you want to be setting those long-term goals. What's your long-term goal? Because God has a place in heaven just for you. If you will give your life over to Him, give your spiritual life over to Him, give your mental life over to Him, your intellectual life, the way you think, the way you learn, the way you reason, give that over to God. In Romans chapter 12, verse 2, Paul writes these words, do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. It's when we allow God to renew our mind that we're better equipped to understand Him and His will. And that doesn't mean you have to leave science behind. Okay? When we allow God to renew our mind, we better understand science. Why? Because God is the intelligence behind the science. Give your mind, give your mental aspect of your life over to God. Give Him your emotional life. Give Him your emotions. In 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7, it says, cast your anxiety upon Him because He cares for you. Give it over to God. Give it to Him. Your frustrations, your disappointments, your depression, your anxiety, whatever it is, give it over to God. And he will transform that into love and joy and peace. But you got to give it to him. And then fourthly, give him your physical life. Give him your body. Allow him to do whatever he wants to do because he made you for exactly what he wanted you to do. He has a purpose for your life. In Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10, it says that we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Now that word handiwork comes from the Greek word poime, and some translations translate that word as masterpiece. You are a masterpiece of God. You are created with value. But when the value really shines through a masterpiece, it's when that masterpiece is used for what it was created for. When we serve God in the way that he created us, that's where the value of this masterpiece that we are truly shines through. Give your spiritual life to God. Give your intellectual life to God. Give your emotional life to God. And give your physical life to God. Because when you give your life to God, he will turn it into something special. And that is where you will be able to find that God-inspired fire ignited deep within your soul that drives you to never settle, to live with passion, and turn the world upside down. Guys, we do a retreat every September called the Enthusiasm Experience, where we literally walk each other through this process. We go step by step through this process of discovering that God-inspired fire ignited deep within your soul that drives you to never settle, to live with passion, and turn the world upside down. Go to TommyLanham.com and click on the Enthusiasm Experience, and you can find out more information, and you can also register for the next upcoming event. This will help change your life from somebody who's just saying, that's all I can stand, I can't stand no more, to somebody who has eaten their spinach, per se, and begin to do something about it. Making those decisions along the way. So make your decisions, ignite your fire, and live with enthusiasm. Here we go.